Whereabouts are you? Is it Boston? Or is it
Yeah,
Chicago?
Boston, yes. Lots of history here.
Cool, man. Lovely. Yeah, yeah.
Have you been here before in Boston or in the US in
Not.
general?
I've been to the US loads. A mixture of business and pleasure. Um, Boston, you know what? Never really been properly, which is weird. But
You
there
have to
you
put
go.
it on your list.
Exactly, always an excuse to visit, right?
Yeah, next time you guys are able to head out on tour, we'll have to add Boston to the list.
Absolutely, absolutely.
No, I'm really excited to chat with you because recently came across the Dust Coda, and I have to say, like one of the best new bands. Well, new to me, I should say. Best new bands to me that I've come across. And the new single Dream of Light, there's just such a pureness and feel good vibe to it.
Ah, awesome. That's lovely to hear. It's really nice to hear. Yeah, it's a pretty cool time at the moment. There's a lot of excitement and buzz about the new album. So we're in a good place. We're having a good time.
Absolutely. Oh, looks like someone's joining us, so add them really quickly.
There he is.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing very well. Thanks for joining.
Pleasure.
Yeah, I was just complimenting you guys on the latest single, Dream of Light. I think it's an excellent composition, and listening to it, I don't know, it just puts me in a good mood. It's like a mood
Thanks very much.
Can you talk a little bit about how long did it take to compose the song and what kind of sparked the creation of it?
It was one of those songs that came really quickly, but then sat around for a long time, and then so I kind of wrote the gist of the song a long time ago. Then I brought it to Adam and the guys, and Adam kind of was like, well, it's good, but it's kind of missing something. And so we had to kind of work on that middle section and go away and you know, make it a bit more TDC kind of thing. And then, you know, we got in the room with it, and I think it floated around for a while until it became what it was. What do you think, Adam? Is that your recollection of it?
I think you had that kind of you knew what it wanted to be, and that kind of reflects in the first half of the song.
Yeah,
and then, you know, as a band, to make it kind of stand out and take it somewhere interesting or give it a bit more of a journey and a story. I remember when we were playing with it, I remember kind of thinking, well, there's an element of potentially a bit more of a Foo Fighters vibe, which we hadn't done before, and then it kind of it it ended up where it is, and it just crescendos, right? It builds and builds, and the thing we do at the end is everything actually musically what happens at the very beginning, but it just sounds a lot bigger, and you just take it on this listener to get there. So like, the way it's come out is fantastic, and playing it's also like really a lot of fun as well, because you know what's coming next. You're kind of part of the journey.
Yeah, it's going to be great to play festivals with that.
Yeah, speaking of festivals, I saw the announcement for Call of the Wild, and man, I wish I lived closer to attend this because the lineup looks killer.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about getting back out there.
And that's in July, right? July 8th to the 11th.
So yeah, so we're playing on the 9th of July, which is the Friday, top of my head. We're actually headlining the, I've forgotten the name of the stage, begins with H. But it's our first time there, so that's really cool as well. We can't wait to be playing it and meet all the new fans there. And to your point, like the lineup's great from the kind of British rock movement point of view. There's some awesome bands playing. So not only kind of, it will be our first gig. If everything goes well, that'll be our first kind of gig out of COVID. So there's a lot of like, wow,
I know,
just
fingers
plug in
crossed.
and play, fingers crossed. Yeah, but see other bands again as well to hang out with will be awesome. So really, yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's such an exciting time with this new wave of classic rock movement. Just way too many awesome bands to name, you know. It's just so exciting to come across all these bands, you know, keeping real rock music alive. And like I said, I wish I lived closer to see them live once concerts happen again.
What's the scene like in Boston? You're in Boston, right?
That's correct, yeah.
What's it like rock music wise in Boston?
It's I feel like it's more alternative rock than kind of classic rock influenced. Yeah, there's this music school called Berklee College of Music, which is famous here, and I feel like over the past few years, you know, there's been some talented bands coming out, but they all, once they graduate, they all move to LA or Nashville. So we kind of lose the talent that, you know, we're creating here.
Do you remember a band called Big Wreck?
Sounds familiar, but I don't think I'm too familiar.
Oh, it's fine. They're I think they're all Berkeley guys. They're a band I was into when I was a teenager. They're Anyway,
Oh,
carry
really?
on. Yeah. They're from Berkeley. Well, they studied at Berkeley apparently, but I'm really into them. Well, a couple of their songs, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the Berkeley students. They don't stick around after graduating. They kind of want to move to where the music scene is bigger.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I want to talk about the upcoming album, Mojo Skyline, which drops next week, right? March 26th.
Yep, you got it.
Yeah, I love the name. Can you talk a little bit about the meaning behind Mojo Skyline?
We very kind of we actually made the album probably about a year before we gave it a name, and all of a sudden we got to a point where it needs a name. We can't go unnamed, and we kind of got away with it with our first album as well because that was just self-titled, so we actually had to give the album a name. So we did a kind of like quite a boring scientific approach of like we just scrambled together ideas and names, and one Mojo is actually a lyric in 2 of the songs, so it just stood out as a cool word in amongst all the other words we put together. And then John came up, we all agreed on Mojo, and then John came up with Skyline, and I think we kind of slept on it, but I think we knew before we went away, we were like, pretty cool. Just sounds.
Yeah.
I remember it's like an Eagles album. You know? It's like cool.
Yeah.
So it just kind of stuck. We did it, and you know, and then coincidentally, it represents Mojo's side. You've got there's a bit of a swagger about it. There's a lot of homage to the 70s side. It kind of grooves, but it holds back when it wants, and then that complements, you know, when we're big and we're tough and we are, you know, we're not scared to reach for the sky with some of the sounds and stuff. I mean, I don't know, John, what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of, I think it's a bold name, which kind of represents where we're going for as a band. You know, we wanted to make a really big sounding rock record, not big like, you know, layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of guitars, but just an album that really sounds, well, actually beautiful and big, and you know, that really rings out. All the sounds really ring out, and that you put it on a stereo and you hear it, and it's a soundscape as much as it is a collection of rock songs. It's, you know, which I guess is what, like, say, Dream Alight, for example. The end of Dream Alight is very much where I think we actually really nailed it. There is that kind of grandiose sound, and yeah, so I think that the name kind of makes a statement like that.
Absolutely. Listening to the other singles, Jimmy Two Time and Limbo Man, I feel like people should not sleep on this album. You know, it's.
Oh yeah, us too.
I'm really excited for it, and I love that you're offering like different colored vinyl and different packages. So that's really exciting. And a lot of them are sold out already, which is amazing.
It's very exciting, and you know, it's a testament to our label Earache as well. They really understand the vinyl culture. They really understand vinyl fans and how it, you know, listening and collecting vinyl is, you know, you're holding something that's tangible in your hand, and you're holding the without being too pretentious, the artwork. You're holding the piece of art, you know, and you kind of go on that journey with it. And so I think they understand that, and so that's why it's really cool for us to be signed with them, is because they're taking this album we've made and then and they're putting it in so many great formats that are just great to look at. You know, you hold the album, you look at it, and you go, wow, you know, we made that, and other people hopefully are feeling the same way.
No, I actually have a vinyl player, so I'm definitely going to scoop one up if they're able to ship it to Boston.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Yeah, and I have to say the artwork for the cover is really cool too. Very creative and catches the eye. Did you make that yourself, or did you find someone to kind of represent what you wanted to, you know, kind of tell?
So John is drinking a very popular brand of beer here in the UK that might have made it to America by now, called Beavertown.
Oh, I haven't heard of it, no.
But you may be able to tell from there, the artwork is very similar to one from the album cover.
Oh, now I see.
Really, really lucky to get the incredibly talented guy called Nick Dwyer, who's the creative director for Beavertown, and he's behind all their artwork. And we met Nick, and we had a couple of pub sessions with him, and he came up with this amazing artwork basically for the album. And you know what, the kind of testament to how cool it is and how much we love it is, before we kind of landed on this, you know, we played around with putting, you know, Mojo Skyline at the top and then Dust Coda along the bottom. Like, nah, leave it. It's cool. You know, the artwork's just awesome. So we just went with it. And yeah, we're basically incredibly lucky to work with Nick, and he did an incredible job. And what makes it even cooler is when you work with someone that talented, you know, the brief from us, there wasn't really one. We were like, here's the album, go listen and draw. And he did. And it was like, wow, great.
Wow. Yeah, what he came up with is really incredible.
Yeah, it was actually great to watch him kind of put this stuff together. Like in front of us at times. Like he had a concept which he brought to us, but he had one of these amazing kind of, it's like on a tablet, and he kind of this multi-layered design tool that he would use, and we'd start, you know, throwing ideas at him off the back of what he'd come up with and say, oh, maybe change this, or can you try this? And he was just brilliant just to watch this guy. We're sitting in a pub drinking some pints and just talking about the concept for the album, and he's just like, oh, why don't I do this? And we're just like, yeah, that looks pretty amazing. And you just kind of, you know, obviously he did a lot of work behind the scenes, or would go off and do his thing, but it was so cool kind of just to sit there and watch that happen. I really enjoyed that process.
Yeah, I can imagine, just to see what someone's imagination, you know, throws together once they listen to your music. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he's a proper artist, this guy. Like he's just got that, he's got that real visual artist imagination, just talking to him, and that's really enjoyable experience when you kind of work with people like that.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you guys, I know you have kind of like a classic rock influence, but going back to your childhood, is there a concert that you attended that really stands out in your mind? Like a memorable concert you attended?
You first?
No, you go first. You go first.
Oh, I mean, so many, but probably the one that really, when I was very, very young, got me was AC/DC on their Razor's Edge tour.
Oh wow!
I was 10 years old, and my I think my auntie took me to it, and she was like a cool auntie. And the funny thing is, AC/DC back in those days, especially, they played so loud, like extraordinarily loud. And I actually had to. I was 10, and I had to leave. After half an hour and go outside for a bit and come back in because it was just too loud for me.
It's probably like that for a few days after that.
Yeah, but I was just spellbounded by it. I just couldn't believe it that this sound would come out of a couple of guys on a stage. It was just incredible.
I remember seeing a video of them. I think it was in South America somewhere, where the crowd was so large and they were jumping so much that it actually registered as an earthquake. So I guess that kind of goes with what you're saying, that AC/DC, they're loud at their concerts.
Well, I mean, if you ever been to an AC/DC concert?
I have never, no.
So I've been to quite a few of them. What is incredible about AC/DC concerts is it is like you're going to a giant tribal gathering. It's because everybody knows the songs, and everybody is just unashamedly there to rock. Nobody's pretentious and cool or too cool to dance or get into it. And grown men will come up to each other and hug each other and just start shouting songs at each other, and then keep walking, go and grab another grown man. It's great.
Oh, now I feel like I have to experience an AC/DC concert.
Oh, you must.
Everyone should experience an AC/DC concert.
Yeah.
What about you, Adam?
First one that had a proper impact, I'd say. I was 14 years old, and it was in North London, and the headline act were Kiss.
Oh, wow.
And there were loads of other cool rock bands on beforehand. The main support act was this new band that we'd kind of just heard about in the UK, there was a big buzz and excitement about them, and it was Rage Against the Machine, and it was their first ever gig in the UK.
Wow.
And enough said, right? But it just blew us away. Me and my mates were just like, I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this or not, but we're just like, what the happened? That was insane. And it was just, never forget it. It was like easily one of the greatest things I've ever seen live. And I was 14. I was like, that was awesome. That was just awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that like these household band names were once local bands, and to think that you saw them before they blew up. You probably had no idea that they were going to become what they are now.
No. And I guess things could kind of move at a pace, right? The swell was a lot sharper because essentially off the back of a big song, which they had, Killing in the Name, it was radio playing, and then they would just put everywhere. Before social media, before streaming and all that stuff, it was it got bigger in front of people, which was almost cool.
Oh, John, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say that I think sometimes you can tell if a band's just gonna go ballistic. Like if you had seen imagine if you'd seen Rage Against the Machine in front of like 50 people, even then you would just be like, there is something extraordinary about this band, or if you'd seen Nirvana for the first time in front of 50 people, or I could rattle off 20 different bands. But
I saw the White Stripes in front of 100 people at a student union bar when I was at university in Manchester. That later that summer, they're headlining Reading and Leeds Festival in front of 100,000.
Wow.
Was that quick? Still got behind them, but there was definitely a buzz of that. That was cool. They're going to do well, but you didn't think it would be that quick. We want you to come back to the UK. Oh, okay, where are we playing? Oh, you're going to play here? Oh, that's a bit different. So good for them.
Yeah, and it's great when they've paid their dues and then they get their big break. Whereas today it just takes a viral video on TikTok and then you can be a huge star the next day. But I feel like back in those days, these bands really put their hard work in, and to see them become the big bands, I feel like they actually paid their dues.
Singing a song on YouTube, a lot of them disappear because they might get signed by a label, but if they don't really connect with an audience, they disappear because they don't have a fan base. So,
True.
spending years and years of playing lots of different shows, you build up this fan base, which is what's great about, rock music.
Yeah. Well, those are two good concert memories, and now I'm kind of jealous. Rage Against the Machine and AC/DC, nice. But is there anything else that you can say about the upcoming album that you think fans should know?
It's coming out next week. All fans of vinyl, CDs, merch, and pre-orders for on iTunes and whatnot, get involved. There's some special unique packages at our record label's website, incorporating things like handwritten lyrics, with bundles of vinyls and so forth for all you collectors out there. It's just earache.com/the Dust Coda is where people can find all that stuff. And yeah, obviously stay tuned for shows for anyone who's in the UK and all the Americans out there. Just spread the word.
So that
We'd love to go to the States one day. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was asking Adam if he had been to Boston. Have you been to Boston before?
No, I've always wanted to go to Boston because I'm into a lot of American movies, and I'm really into a director. He's an actor, but a guy, obviously you know who he is, Ben Affleck.
Oh yeah.
he's actually a remarkable film director, and a lot of people don't realize it, but he's made a lot of great films, and a lot of them are very Boston based. And I've always been fascinated by the town. But no, I've only been to New York actually a couple of times in the States, and Philadelphia. That's it.
Yeah. Also, Matt Damon, he's good friends with Ben Affleck. I think they did Good Will Hunting together.
Yeah, they wrote that, and yeah, that's what pretty much put them on the map.
Yeah, and Mark Wahlberg, he has if you like burgers, he has his own restaurant in Boston. It's called.
He's gone big. Yeah, he's all over the country now. Wahlburgers is massive.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a chain in the States, which is just wild.
Well, cool. Well, I definitely hope that you guys make it over here, sooner than later.
Yeah,
we'd love to. We'd love to, man. It'd be awesome. And we're just, we're chuffed to bits that, just the Boston scene are getting into this, our brand of rock and roll, and we hope you all enjoy it.
Absolutely. No, best believe I'll spread the word as much as I can.
Hey.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm really
nice one.
The album to drop, and I'm definitely going to order a vinyl. So
awesome, great.
So thanks so much for your time, guys.
Thanks very much, Jen.
Your weekend.